Sasol has handed over 285 hectares of agricultural land to the Department of Agriculture to support the further development of emerging farmers. The oil giant said the handover was part of its vision of the concept of just transition. Conferred under a 99-year lease, the land has to date benefited more than 300 emerging farmers from the Gert Sibande District in Mpumalanga. Joining us now for more on this project is Charlotte Mokoena, who's the Executive Vice President of HR and Emerging Farmer Thokozani Albeon Skosana from Buhle Farmers Academy. Good afternoon to you both, and thank you so much for joining us. Charlotte, I'll start with you. Let's just go back to the beginning. How and when was the Esperanza farm acquired, and what was Sasol using it for prior to the conferment of the land to the Department of Agriculture?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having us. The Esperanza farm was land acquired by Sasol in 1980, and it was used as part of the land that was available when the developments were ongoing in the building of the plant. That's how we got the land in 1980.
Now you have decided to confer this land on a 99-year lease. I mean, Sasol is quite a huge contributor to the economy of Mpumalanga. What was the thinking behind this decision and the vision that you wanted out of it?
Yes, the land has been handed over to the government. We work with the government, all tiers of government, when it comes to intervening in communities as well as in society. So the arrangement we have with both the provincial, national and local government is that the land will be in the hands of the Department of Agriculture, because they are experts in this kind of work. And it's going to be available to the farmers that come from the community that will be accessing that land following the training with our partner that you had in our Buhle Farmer Development Program. So we really wanted that land to be in the hands of government, so that when it gets parceled out, it is parceled out in a way that the governance can happen between Sasol, the community, as well as with government.
I mean, speaking of the community, Minister Didiza did congratulate Sasol during the handover process for the approach in this program, which includes the training and the starter packs that you offer to the emerging farmers, and not just handing over the land. Just take us through that approach in terms of what training do they receive, and what do the starter packs include in order for them to have that head start when going into farming?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. One of the things that are critical for entrepreneurial success or enterprise success is when a new entrepreneur has deep vocational knowledge and deep vocational skills of that kind of enterprise that they are going to lead. So we have various ones in our program called Bridge to Work. The agricultural program, the farmer development program, is one of them. Others are welding and ECD assistants and mechanics and others. In this particular one, the EPEP Farmer Development Program, they get vocational training, and we have partnered with Buhle, who are experts in this kind of work. And we've then also partnered with other experts that are good in business development and business support and business incubation. The starter packs are really critical, because often we put people in training, but then they leave training. They don't have financial resources to start up their own organization or their own enterprises, and hence the starter pack. And it's very specific to the vocation and to the particular type of farmer. If you are going to be doing stock farming, we support you with wherever we need you. It might be the fact that you need implements or you need stock. And that decision is made between you and your support system that you have, part of which is Buhle. We also provide ongoing support through the agricultural extension services. We donated 2 vans to Buhle, supported by AFASA, to provide skills to support the farmers. So it's a whole total infrastructure that makes these new emerging enterprise owners and new farmers to actually become sustainable and thriving enterprises. So it is skills development, deep vocational skills development, business development, business support, starter pack, access to land, as well as the ongoing expert support by mentors in that work. So this land is particularly important, just as the starter pack is important, just as the vocational skills is important. So it's a whole system that actually provides for this particular emerging farmer that is so important for success.
Right. Speaking of emerging farmers, Buhle, just to bring you in on this conversation, Thokozani, because from the Buhle Farmers Academy, 85 emerging farmers have come out successfully in the past year out of the training that Charlotte is speaking about. As someone who was a part of this program, can you just tell us how it's helped you in propelling your path with regards to becoming a farmer?
Okay, good afternoon. First, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for having me here. Thank you to Sasol, to Afasa, to Buhle. Buhle has given me the project in total. It's given me the skills to become an emerging farmer. It has molded me to be a farmer, to be strong, to understand what is farming.
And what are some of the challenges that you've come across that you would say, had the project of Sasol coming in place not being there, you wouldn't have possibly found ways to overcome those challenges?
Sponsors to Buhle. So like having to go to Buhle, obviously there must be payments to be made so I can get the skills to be qualified farmer. So Sasol came in hand and Afasa. So yes, I would say it was helpful.
Most certainly. Charlotte, you mentioned earlier the BTW program that you have across from agriculture to other sectors as well. And one that is mentioned is the community service program, where you mobilize unemployed community members to become active citizens in the country. What's your take on active citizenry, with people being able to stand up and maybe just contribute towards their own livelihoods, as opposed to just waiting upon government and other sectors to hand over to them?
I think it's important, and I'll speak from a side of Sasol as a corporate. First, we are neighbors with our communities, and Sasol in the role we want to play in society is to be a catalyst for positive change. Because in our strategy, we don't only look at profit, we look at people, we look at planet, and we look at profit. In the people, we look at Sasol people as well as Sasol communities and society. So when we look at a thriving society and stable communities, we are a member in that particular community, a citizen of this country. So it is important to have thriving society and stable communities. We therefore have to look at what are the challenges that community is looking at. So the way we identify programs that we work with, we engage communities and local government and as well as provincial government, and we look at all the programs that the government has put out. So when you look at the NDP or you look at all the other programs the government is rolling out, you need to identify what are the needs and what is the niche that you play to make a contribution to move society in. The one on community service was very instrumental when we got to a well-known challenge in South Africa of local government that is not fully functional, and some of them are totally have collapsed. So when we face those challenges in our communities, and these communities where our employees live, we face those challenges in the community, was water and roads and infrastructure. We then looked at the fact that we have a problem. We have youth that is not employed. We've got a system that we know that we can put together an intervention, and we have resources that we would like to put in the community. So we identified this program. We actually, right at the beginning, worked with Public Works program in Sasolburg, and we put that program together, identified what needs to be done that was not done by local government. We put these youth in training for those particular skills and other skills, team building, give them psychosocial support, and also ensure that they know what they're going to do when they emerge out of the program. And from that program, we're able to support the services that were required by that community that were not provided by the local community and supported by the Public Works program and other partners in the community. From there, we learned that you actually need deep vocational skills, so that when you finish training, you don't go back to unemployment. You actually are supported out of unemployment. So the community service one is really important. So active citizenry, as well as ensuring that communities have got the resources that we can provide for them to participate as active citizens in their own communities. That is instrumental in the way we support them, but is very fundamental in making sure that you've got thriving communities and you can deal with unemployment and as well as skill a youth at the same time. So that's how we approach any program. We look at what is the needs of the community, what are the challenges in the community, how do we want to get involved, what are the programs of government, and what is the impact of the program. the one on community service was very, very important at that particular time. And that's why we also continue to actually roll it out in the communities where we live and operate.
Right. Thokozani, just on that, how important or what advice would you give to people within communities that have these programs coming into their communities but are not necessarily taking advantage of them? How would you advise someone to participate in ensuring that they're able to uplift themselves when such opportunities present themselves?
I would advise them, more especially youth, that we cannot all depend on being employees. So we need to take these opportunities so we can create employment to our communities. They need us. They do need us a lot. We can see that employment opportunities are so slim lately. So we need to take these opportunities so we can be better person and uplift our standard of our communities.
All right, thank you so much for that. Lastly, Charlotte, coming from a CSI perspective, how important is it for Sasol to continue giving back to its communities that it operates in?
It is fundamental to us. It's actually one of our strategic pillars at Sasol in terms of our purpose. Our purpose is innovate for a better world. And then we, as I said, we look at the three strategic pillars. We are organize ourselves, our resources, our strategic intent, and our programs around the people, the planet, as well as profits. So when we look at the people, as I said earlier, it is our own employees, communities, and society. So we will remain committed to becoming a partner in solving the challenges that our societies have wherever we operate. And in South Africa, we know that we have unemployment and poverty and inequality, and will continue to play a role as a catalyst for change. And also use CSI investment, and not only, there will always be a need for grant giving, but it is important where we make the word investment even more pronounced in the way we do our social impact programs. And that's why you hear that we actually are involved in one long value chain of producing a very sustainable enterprise that we start from a person that did not have vocational skills all the way to supporting them to making them enterprises. So we actually have to shift the focus on CSI on actually making impactful difference in the societies we're in, and stay in for the long haul, because it takes a while to see the trainees through these programs. It might be 18 months, it might be 24 months, but it is important that the intent is important. So we'll continue doing that as Sasol, getting involved in impacting society where we operate.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. It's always wonderful to see how such partnerships really end up. Thank you for your contributions as well. That is Charlotte Mokoena, who's the Executive Vice President of HR at Sasol, as well as a beneficiary of the program, who is Thokozani Albeon Skosana, who came from the Buhle Farmers Academy.